assistance in fluidity and calming down this vibrant download of energy that's been blasting open today and the last few days, because I know that I am like a puppy with it. Okay, so this is running. We're just waiting on, there we go.
We're live, right?
We are live. We are live. What happened to us? What did I do? We were live and then they kicked me out.
Johnny Ann, I have a question. So
yes,
if you go live and that other person comes back on, can they still get on?
I think so, because I'm just watching the screen and letting people in as they show up.
All right.
Okay. So yes, as I said, I really appreciate you guys stabilizing my flow. I'm going to take a moment to do something live that Kathleen normally adds in a graceful way that I always go afterward. Thank you, because it's not my comfort zone, but I do feel really, really compelled to do an infomercial for the Spirit Collective right now. Okay. So before we get into our group healing session, so I just want to let the audience know that one of the beautiful, let's see, we've got audience coming in, so bear with me. Hello, welcome. Oh, connecting to audio, so you didn't hear me anyway. Okay, when you connect to audio, can you then hit mute for me? That way, it helps control background noise and things like that. So, okay, infomercial for the Spirit Collective, a brief commercial break. In that, I just am compelled by Spirit to publicize one of the most profound reasons for the Spirit Collective. And it ties in with what we're going to talk about tonight and the sacred space that we're offering tonight for people at large. So this morning, over the last few days, in fact, Spirit's been guiding us through this concept of subjugation, self-subjugation. We'll talk about that a little bit more in detail, and is now moving this into asking us to take a position of omniscience, which I'll explain that in a second as well. But underneath all of that, Spirit Collective's intention, the passion that we as practitioners and as humans, the passion that we embody for the purpose of self-empowerment, not just ourselves, but your self-empowerment, has everything to do with the amplification of your individuation. I know these sounds like big words, but it's because of the power that when you're in clarity and you are home in your body and you are the sole occupant, SOLESOUL, the sole occupant of your space, your unique signature energy of divinity shines through and breaks through, and also permits you such strength. And there's a word, it permits you such imperviousness. And that's the best way I can explain it. It allows you to be impervious to external influence and projection and the external dance between you and all others in a way of purity. And the more that we can assist through a shining light on others' precious spiritual gifts. You know, we actually have a program in the Spirit Collective that we facilitate both from our leaders in spirit, whether they're embodied or disembodied, our teachers in spirit. We've all here been gifted wonderful pathways to assist our client into this individuation, and the importance of that discovery of self is that as each and every one of you receive self-empowerment, each and every one of us benefit from that with ourselves as well as with the ripple. I'm not sure how much you guys have been tuning into the ripple effect of your divine self, because honest to God, right? The waters recently have been really, really muddy. Okay. So that's my infomercial. Take a look at our website, scroll through and see the various options that we have to offer to assist you in becoming the best you. I cannot express deeply enough the glory that if you choose to do that work for yourself, not only that you receive, but that we get to witness. And you know, my gratitude for that. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this, right? Why this is coming in so powerfully. In setting this intention for myself, in doing the clarification of the clarity and working with these beautiful souls we're working in, what's the word? We are each coming into this sacred circle. We're holding hands and we're like across the world, and we're connecting to our humanity, and we're connecting to your humanity. And in that sacred build of the sacred fires of the sacred self, I have to tell you that holding that place and space of neutrality and of the witness to this beauty of love, I have been recently gifted with the craziest amount of validation, no less in the last 2 days. 4 separate people randomly texting or communicating with me their absolute love for me, their gratitude for the things that I speak to, their heartfelt wishes for my well-being. And it's not like I was like, you know, I'm really feeling underappreciated. I just, you know what I mean? I'm just dumbfounded to witness the expansion, the intention of that divine expansion. I hope that you too have all been experiencing this form, particularly in the last week, but it has just been crazy wild. And like, so now what I'd like to do for us all, now that the infomercial is out there, take a look at the website, www.spirit-collective.com. And it's got on the menu, it's got all the options. And I want to tell you guys that like how each of us show up in this work is so divinely unique and so powerful. And but the format is, we assist you in figuring out a baseline of where your gifts are. And then we assist you in like clearing the muddy waters so that we rise those gifts up in purity and like shininess. I don't know, it's like gold digging. Okay, so enough about that. Let's set intention for today's session. Is there anyone besides myself that's yakety yakety and would like to set circle? Okay, so let me do this for you. So if everybody would center within, take a deep breath to bring yourself home and envision yourself in this sacred circle with us. Go ahead and close your eyes so you get a real crisp picture of each of us with you, and hold your hands out and allow for each of us to grasp each other's hands. As we do so, we are invoking this beautiful energy of something called the 11th Energy Center, which is worded with the title Commander from our fabulous commander, Cindy Dell, as she has done her own works and compilations of knowledge world knowledge in divinity and in the desire to be in service to expand this same circle of light throughout the world, to amplify and anchor goodness here through humanity. And so commanding, so as we link hands palm to palm, pay attention to the center of your palms and you will feel this tingle. And I'm not putting sensations into your system with my words. I'm just noting, hey, guess what? That tingle is true. That tingle is your energy body linking through our hands, through our electricity, our electrical bodies, and making that electrical connection to each other. And then as you feel this connection and you allow for that love flow to go up through the left hand, through the heart space, through the torso, and down through the heart space, through the torso, through the right hand and into your neighbor, your brother or your sister. And just sense that flow as it starts to build in that connection, providing for each and every one of us the expansion of our heart space, which is the relational energy, how we relate to each other and how we relate to our earth, how we relate to our ancestors, how we relate to our spirit divine guidance. And bring your attention to the soles of your feet and notice the warmth and the tingling. It's kind of a, not quite a tickle, but there's definitely a feel of the energy as you plug into Mother Earth and you plug into her provision, you plug into her maternal energy, the receptive, cooler, rich soil of nutrients, and you plug into the provision of sustenance through the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the other world kingdom, the human kingdom, the solar, universal kingdom. And just notice, you may sense that your feet start to get warm and more supple. And that is the ramping and amping of life force energy. And just breathe that in, breathe deep into your tailbone and breathe deep into the soles of your feet. And as you exhale and relax to gather that next breath, breathe that earth substance up into your body and just know that everything that you need is being provided to you. And as you pull that, notice it's really coated with light and that your light body receives the light body of Mother Earth. And pull it in with your inhalation. Pull it all the way up into your diaphragm, your solar plexus, your inner sun. Feel it warm and spread and expand as you take that next inhalation. Let that light expand outward to be inclusive. Notice the circle that you're holding hands in as it expands into a broader circle, a broader beam, a noticeable beam. And as you do so and you take that next inhalation in, I want you to tilt up to receive from the universal light, the universal divine light. Allow yourself to pull that in with your breath into the heart chambers. This light, you might notice, has a couple different tones of light to it. Tones may not be the right word. You have sunlight, the warm golden light. You also have moonlight, the reflected or receptive light. And there's also a silvery white light. And allow that to commingle in your heart space. As you inhale and expand that light outward, you are the light, your individual nuance of light, and you are part of the earth's light. The earth's light is being fed by universal light. You also are fed by universal light. And as you allow that to commingle in your space and you breathe it all in and you breathe it all up, invite the light to sustain you and all those that you love. We include them in this blessing. We include them in this anchoring. We include them in our circle as we endeavor to understand Spirit's message this week. We ask, dear divine teachers, to assist each and every one of us in expressing our understanding of what exactly does subjugation mean, and what exactly is omniscience, and that in relationship to the perceptions you're asking us to ponder. And in what way can we be in service to this understanding? In what way can we convey this message of universal truth and universal light to each and every one of our powerful rays of light? And how do we embody this teaching, this spiritual truth, and bring it into this world? What do we need to do or be? And that's the beauty of this, is it's ultimately so simple. And so with this being said, and in closing in this circle and the amplification of this circle for all, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you for having our backs, for loving us with zero conditions, for being our cheerleading team, for standing guard with our precious lives. We thank you, and we love you. We love you. We love you, and impart to us a continuation of our ability to express divinity here in this world. Amen. All right, everybody, come on in. So does anyone have any idea what I'm talking about this week?
Please explain it a little bit, Daw.
Yeah, I was gonna say that if it's a quiz, I'll probably fail it.
we have some members of our team that have been so immersed right now in self-love, and I just can't wait to hear.
It
Because
sounds to me like you're talking about self-love. That's
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really what you're talking about, is what we've been immersed in.
Mhm.
So typical Johnny Ann, she just reads the airwaves about what other people are doing. That's her material.
I just honestly, I can't stop saying I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed. Okay, so subjugation, the word means well, I'll give the first definition. There's like 3 different angles, and this is really fascinating. What Spirit's really super talking about is self-subjugation. But subjugation in the first delivery is when, like, say somebody is going to become a judge. They, in order to remain neutral in their judgment, they have to relinquish their own biases, beliefs, needs, wants, desires, etc. right? They actually have to leave those out. And I find that intriguing that we call this person a judge. You know, it's hilarious because so what you're saying, individual, is that you're going to perform judgment and you're going to do it from neutrality. And it just the really, come on, right? When you think about that, bow to these people for taking on that job, you know, because it's like we all have our own belief systems, our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own constructs. We all have our perceptions of divine truth. We can have an experience together and we have separate takes on that experience, right? Okay. So that's like one definition, is letting go of your own personal desires, needs, wants, etc., your beliefs, in order to step into this role. The other subjugation issue is the one of oppressor, being oppressed. When those rights to your beliefs, thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors in the human world are dictated to you by another, okay? And there is no room, opportunity, sharing of how you come into this world. And the one that Spirit is referring to is self-subjugation. So heart space relationships, when you endeavor to relate to another through love, the act of surrendering your own needs, wants, desires, beliefs, philosophies, you subjugate yourself often to uphold this relationship in love. So what Spirit's been talking about is for self-care, is why your individual self is so important, is because when you know your center, when you are not susceptible to subjugation ever. And so self-subjugation, particularly, Spirit is asking us to internalize, to introspect. In what way have you relinquished your center? And how has that benefited you? And how has it taken away? So I want to hear your guys. I know you know what I'm talking about. So I'm ready to hear your fleshing.
You know, I can't be quiet.
So now,
Diane, what you're describing is what I call, okay, your center is the divine. That's the kingdom of God within. And, you know, we have to get some provision in our life where we withdraw from our five senses and go in and see what Holy Divine wants to do with us. And in our Sufi walking, we call that, you know, cleaning the mirrors, cleaning those aspects of ourselves that don't really reflect our true God-given light. And we need the pole of the divine in the middle of our Taurus body to go to. Like, that's where we go to get comfort. And people, they need some spiritual practice to get there. They need the encouragement of others to feel like they're worthy enough. And it's really what we call getting healed. Getting healed means just really pulling away those veils that tell us that we are not loved, we're not worthy, and we have no purpose for being here. So you crack me up, because that's just basically what we've been studying, and then you like create one of these evenings around it. Your ability to read the airwaves is just remarkable. It is one of your God-given gifts. And as you
collective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what you're talking about. Like, you've read the spiritual text, but the point is, reading them is not the same thing as doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to each take our own lives very seriously, and we have a purpose and a place, and God guides us. And do we know how to listen or to see the signs along the way? And that's all I'll say. And I'll let some other beautiful soul give their version of whatever, but you make me laugh, Johnny.
So yeah, okay. And what I want to include now is so this has been going on, and obviously let's allow us to surrender to this concept of linear time. Yes, it's amplified right now. However, it's an ongoing experience, and the blessing of that purification process is that your light comes out in the world, and we all benefit from that expression. So I want to say too that the omniscient component that's coming in now, it's like piggybacking in on, hey, take this time, let's check out. I wanted to say to you, Kathleen, the word to help people really get a sense of this is holograph, that our external world is a holographic image of what's going on within. And so if we're processing self-subjugation, we are projecting out that internal environment. So guess what we're going to get back? Subjugation. Isn't that wicked? Like, do you understand now how much authority you have to what you bring into the world? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Take it from here, guys. Like, show that power. It's just magnificent to behold in somebody, right? Like when and I'm not talking about idolizing people. I'm not talking like putting them on a pedestal. I'm talking about celebrating the gift of who they are as they show up in this world, how they demonstrate a way to be. That's kind of why I pulled one of our teachers in with the Cindy Dell reference, because it'll cycle around. You go, now, I probably can't claim I've read all 27, 28, 29 books that she has compiled the teachings from the world. That she has done this precious gift for us all of expanding the light, right? She demonstrates, hey, check this out. I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. And isn't that the best thing ever? Because that's a standard, right?
We're not designed to be perfect, Johnny Ann.
Right?
The imperfection's part of the divine creation. And what I hear you saying is that what we would like our guests on Spirit Collective to know, that really, if you recognize that we're all a beam of light from the source, that there's an aspect of the source within us, but in the provision to become human, we get these veils. That's why we have this physical body. We have a story, we have a culture, we have a time period, but that's not our essence. So going in and finding remembering in the Sufi walk, we remember that, like, that's one of the ways that we heal. We do remembrance. We remember God. We remember God because that's who created us. So there's a piece of God in us, but it's veiled. And that's the walking. That's the work that we have to do. And when we do it, and we get cleaner and cleaner and clearer and clearer in our omniscience, which really means knowing, we can know everything, but not with all these blinders on, right? So, like, there's a purpose down here, and we do live in the world of duality. We have to deal with the light and the dark, but this time of COVID really gives so much provision for people to be inward and reflecting. And if they see themselves as part of the greater whole, that everything has a purpose and it's working its purpose through us. And you and I and every person on this panel and all the people that aren't here have a purpose. And if we work towards that end, we fulfill God's design. See, we forget we're part of God's design. Yeah. And no matter who you are, whether you're the good one or the villain, You're part of God's design.
So the omniscient piece that's coming down now is this concept of taking a step back, so that gift, that crazy gift that I have of sourcing like collective energy, right? And funneling it down and through me, through my voice, through my expression, my intention, say, hey, check this out. We're being given like this great opportunity to individuate. We're given this great opportunity to shed the muddy waters and to filter in and clean that Niagara Fall, whatever water image that you have, and that power, right? And you guys all know that feelings are so critical to our creational energy, and it's stuck feelings that muddy the waters. It's the flow of feelings that feeds creation. And the omniscience, what you're referencing to that is what we're being asked is like to give ourselves permission to step back from our experiences and to allow our witness, so to allow the information that we have collected within our personal system to come into a place of our perception, of our perception. And that perception is a overview. Omniscience is an overview. So what I also want to speak to when you say subjugation as a pattern theme is that when you step back and you look at this overview, you realize that we're all part of this experience, that this is an environment, it's a creation. And since we started with explaining, when you clear your centers and you invoke your divinity and you operate from that within to creating your holograph without, what ends up happening is that holographic image starts to reflect the universal truths, the universal divinity, and you become the vessel that then contributes to the world in a way that serves everybody. Am I making sense? I'm like, and so what omniscience is doing,
Unity.
yeah, and that omniscience is giving you permission to allow the flow of these energies as you watch or witness or sense, but you don't attach to them, so you don't end up clogging. I don't know how else to explain. When you come into your own personal ways of keeping yourself clear, it gets easier. That's all I can tell you is it does simplify. It does get easier.
I can try to explain maybe in a down to earth just example what it means to me. I know that that a lot of people feel in their third chakra, which is the solar plexus, which is, this, let's say, the stomach area, the digestive system, feel a lot of things, including fear, of what's coming, or anxiety of what's coming, and as well as many other feelings right there, but they're related to feeling perhaps not enough, having self-confidence issues. So we're talking about, do you know whether you're capable actually of being successful in this life, of being what your purpose is, of feeling that you're fulfilled in this life. And, as long as you don't have some sense of really knowing, you're kind of stuck in there, and it might feel like fear. It might feel like physical symptoms. And so I think, Johnny, and the clearing part is there's a bunch of subconscious beliefs that stuck there. It's not like I know exactly what I'm feeling, but it's right there and it's waiting to be cleared. Really, I think this is an example for what you're talking about is the maintenance, because these are layered things. You know, different things will mirror to us or will reflect different memories that we have of things that happen to us, and then when it comes, we feel the anxiety. We don't necessarily directly connect it to something we remember, but it's right there, and it's an opportunity. Really, what it is, it's life is bringing to us an opportunity to clear so we can renew the connection. Now, the trick is you don't necessarily have to clear first before you renew the connection. It is a game. You renew the connection, you clear, you renew the connection. It's all happening simultaneously because these things happen at the same time, and one helps the other. And so the way I like to imagine it is, I feel whatever I feel there in the stomach area, and I can the next thing that I can do is just remember that I'm not alone, that there's actually a connection that is always there if I remember it. And the moment I said that, there was some sensation of opening in my body. It was not a constriction of the body, it was some kind of an expansion in the body. The moment I said, I'm not alone, I'm connected to something already, it's in me. This connection, this divine connection is already here because it's a part of me and I'm part of it. And so the moment you know that and you feel the expansion, you know it's true, you know this is a truth, and it's already starting to build light inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what this light does? It lights up whatever is lower frequency, whatever is darker in your body, including fears, anxieties, feeling less than, feeling not deserving. These kind of frequencies are going to be lifted just by the fact that you suddenly formed a connection. So this is, I think, and I'm talking about the third chakra because it is the seat of, you know, of feeling empowered and also of knowing. It can also be false knowing, but that all depends on whether we're connected and aligned with divine truth. So,
right. Thank you.
That's a great place to work on.
And that brings this awareness of something that came up earlier today, the Trinity. For me, I always work in triangles, pyramids, the number 3 Trinity. And in the human world, in the human dance, the Trinity, this is really fascinating. I'm just going to give a little nod to this expression that I was exposed to this year. So you've got the man, and forgive me on my language, okay? Because this is these are just the roles, I guess you could say, that show up in family, right? You got the male energy, and you got the female energy. So you have male energy is coded with well, we all are aware of this, like male energy expresses power a little bit more blatantly, right? Women's power is expressed more subtly. So you have this male energy, and then you have so that's will, divinity in will, or divine will. Then you have the female, the subtler energy of intelligence. So you have, well, it's really divine intelligence, and then women's is divine intuition. But they're both formations of knowing, right? Okay, so they get together and they do their little dance in love, and they birth divine love. That's the Trinity, or the child of light. So regardless of how that family comes together through love, it's that beautiful Trinity that takes place to continue that cycle that you're talking about. Well, and then all the messiness. We already know what all the messiness is, right? And that's what that's the journey of returning or remembering your Trinity, your divinity. I think in some other like faiths that, you know, they talk about the Trinity as, I forget, what is it? The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, I think is a terminology, which, you know, let's throw that out today. Let's modernize that today, right? Because that's what we've been doing in our world, is like creating neutral terminology for everything. So intelligence, intuition, bam, you put the powers together and you make love. Okay, so that's just a crack me up. I probably all by myself, but you guys all get it. So
No, I actually heard something something interesting today about the Trinity, and so in the old days, the use of numbers, use numbers not to count, but each number meant something. It was the quality of the digit of the number. Then there was a period where numbers, when this might be our period, but I feel like it's changing. And so the numbers are used to quantify and to count and things like that. So the ancient times where numbers were quality, you can consider as the time of unity. And now it's the time of duality, where you can count, and you have all these separate things that you count, leading to a new era where you can't, if you want to go back to unity, which we all want to do, is, you know, to connect to the divine. It's like you can't go back because we already know too much. You can't go back to the simplicity of the past, but you can move forward. And as you move from 2 to 3, you actually move to Trinity. And that is moving the 2 of duality back to the 1 of unity. And so you form 3. And I thought that was interesting to share.
that is so delicious. Thank you. Now, is there anyone else too that would like to reflect on like how their week has been, and can we, or if not, we would like to move into a group clearing on these endeavors. Gotta love you people. I appreciate your silence, because as it's clearly obvious, it's like not the way that I communicate. Okay, Ofer, you are so blessed, and I do this all the time to you, and you typically volunteer unless you're too tired. But you just simplified it. You just landed it, and I just wondered if you might assist our guests and our world to expand the heart place of this concept.
Sure. Unless there is anybody else that want to take us through a trip, I'm open.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
All right. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath into the belly. As you deep breathing into the belly, also bring the breath upwards so that your lungs fill up, your chest, your shoulders move back. Just fill yourself with air. And as you blow it out, blow this air like light into a sphere around you, and fill this sphere with the light of the breathing. Because as we breathe in and out, we always have this conversation with creation, and it's a conversation of light. So breathe in again. And breathe out and feel a sphere around you with this beautiful light. Also feel around your head a sphere of light building up. It might feel warm, Be also aware that there is this activity, movement of energy that is going along the spine, up and down, and might feel a bit tingly, but as we're activating this flow of light and energy, you can feel it around the body, and you might feel it wherever it wants to be felt in the body or around the body. It's all good. Now move with your awareness into the center of the chest and feel a warmth starting to spread in that area. Put your right hand over the center of the chest and let this hand feel like a magnet of light energy. And as the hand feels warm and feel the warmth of the chest, just know that it's starting to pull light that is always here inside our heart out to the surface. Start swim around, flood the surface of the chest, and make everything, well, feels like light, lighter, with warmth. Take some of this energy, and this energy is this light and warmth, and let it spread from under your hand throughout the entire body. See how it spreads to your stomach and down to the navel area and to the genitals area. Let this warmth just spread front and back and go up the spine and go up the spine back all the way up to the head. Just feel the dance of the warmth now and the light inside the head. And also see now, as your awareness is in the head, how the light and energy that is spreading inside the head becomes green. Just know that it becomes green. See or feel, whatever, however you sense things, that it becomes green. And what we're doing is we're bringing heart color energy into the head. It's just influences our thinking to be heart-based more than usual. Let's bring the awareness again straight into the center of the chest. And now from there, move with your awareness leftwards into the physical heart. And it might feel a little bit like an assembly line where all this pumping of blood is making noise. So you might hear like machines working a noise. And from here, there is a door. It might be a secret door, but you know where it is. Open it and move through it. You're still in the heart, but now you're in the dimension of the sacred space of the heart, where everything is as silent as it feels silent for you, whatever silent means for you. There is beautiful light. There is, in fact, no shadow here. There is just light, that special light that is not anything regular on the spectrum, but it might be a combination of different lights. Ask for the spirit aspect of you that Johnny Ann and Kathleen mentioned, that part of you that is divine, to show up. It's always here with you, but just to be now almost visible, or maybe visible, and whatever shape your higher self takes is not very important, but just note it because you'll know next time if you see yourself in this way. You know that's the beautiful spirit part of you, and invite that part of you to come and merge with your awareness so that you're one, the everyday awareness, the consciousness of when you are functioning in the day-to-day is now one with this sacred part of you, your spirit. And as you feel into this, and light, this is on its own as a magnet of light. So divine light starts streaming to it from above, from below, from the heart, and feel it light it up. You become like a column of light in your heart. Beautiful. It feels beautiful. You might feel infinite, and perhaps time and space is not even here when you are in this presence of the self, your awareness, and the light together. Now connect to the divine by just knowing that this part of you that is here with you, really physically, intimately with you, your higher self, is already, that's the divine in you. Just know that this is a point of connection and see this connection going up and down, connecting you to creation. And let this connection be like a river, but it's a river that goes both ways. It's a dialogue between you and creation. It's a beautiful river, and you can ask the river to flow into you. As it does, it becomes healing streams of grace. It becomes the stream that heals anything that needs to be lit up and healed in your body right now. So for instance, you might have a shadow, what feels like a shadow in your heart, some ache. It might be dull, it might be sharp, it might feel like a loss. It might feel like a loss of something that could have been in your life but never happened. Something that was quote unquote supposed to happen and never did. Or maybe something that you had and lost. And this sense of loss, this grief is right there in the heart. And so pay attention again to this connection, this stream, this river of healing streams of grace between you and the divine, and ask for it to be directed into that area that aches. And notice how transformation starts to happen, how the ache starts to perhaps transform or spread, but it is not as focused. It is not as intense. And it's not that the ache is necessarily disappears from memory, but it changes. You know, grief is a process, so we don't necessarily want to skip it. I wouldn't take a pill for grief, even if I could, even if there was one. But how beautiful it is to take this river of light and direct it right there and let it feed. Let this grief feed on light and be changed by the light into something softer, just something that doesn't feel as knowing, maybe doesn't feel as intense, and it starts spreading out even more and opening. Maybe there is something there that where before there was this endless compelling attachment to something, now it becomes more like a feeling of hope for a change, perhaps a little detachment introduced into the attachment. It's not forgetfulness, but instead of must and have, it's a hope. So let that light just flood your chest, flood your heart. Send it to the rest of the body, these healing streams of grace. Let it heal you at the cellular level from the bottoms of the feet through any area that requires attention, you know. And as you say yes, and as we discussed before, feeling your body, how your body opens to the yes. It's an open to the truth, to your divine truth that wants to connect with divine light. And let it in. Take a deep breath. And thank the divine and the healing streams of grace that are flooding through and around you, and all of the assistance, the guidance of your guardians and angels and every other light being that is helping bring your awareness back wherever in the body it feels right for you to be back with us here in the room. Open your eyes and be back with us.
If anyone would like to express their experience, if they received a new awareness, you are welcome to address it. We have a few minutes. I know I was piggybacking on somebody else's something.
I felt at various points the discomfort of some of the feelings that Ofer was describing, and the overwhelming relief from the release as he continued talking of it flowing out of us. So those were good feelings to assess, understand that I had, and know that then I had the relief from it leaving, the discomfort leaving.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to put this out there. So, Ofer, there was a past life connection, a previous life or ancestral connection that was clearing for somebody. It was a little complicated. It was like more like that whole, this is what we think witches look like, you know, the whole Halloween aspect of witches. And you're just kind of like, that is, what's that called when you like have the pointy hat and you're riding the literally, and it's like done in shadow. But there was a experience for somebody within that lifetime that has been carried forward for them in this lifetime, and it was an acute contributor to this person's peace today, in that PEACE, in that until this cleared. And I was just in awe of witnessing you're attuning to the it's really hard to explain. People are, wouldn't, what's Ofer doing? Oh my gosh.
Well,
Ofer.
grief has a lot of layers, and
yeah.
to clear grief in 10 minutes is a large undertaking.
But you've assisted in setting that process for them to be able to have that omniscient standpoint now, to be able to witness this experience in their ancestry without being entangled in the pain that the sharpness of that pain that was.
And I think you're also talking about persecution.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So thank you for that, for whoever that's for. And maybe more than one of you. Awesome. Okay.
Can I add just one thing? I'm feeling led that I need to give a little higher frequency sound for someone in our group, maybe more than one, but I'm going to just do my triangle just.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Somebody's angels are coming in for that. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. I'll get this posted as quickly as possible. And I want to do a quick little raffle for our attendees here, our guests, so that they may continue doing the work, even though we all know it's not really work, right? It's pleasure. We promise you pleasure. Okay. So we've got two A's here. I think we have an AN and an AM. All righty. So I'm just gonna label here. You're gonna have to trust me. Okay. It's a 50-50 chance. Get excited. Because we're all excited to be able to offer this. So get excited. Put your intention forward. And don't subjugate. All right, here we go. I'm releasing one and taking the other. It is, drum roll, AM, not AN, AM as in mama. Okay, so that's the big A that I'm looking at here on my screen, the big purple A, whoever that is. Do us a favor. How do we want to communicate? Give me an email.
Is that Amanda?
Is that what it is? Let me pan over.
I
Yes.
see Amanda.
Amanda, go ahead and fire us up an email to what's our? Yeah, woohoo! Absolutely. I'm like, what's our email? It's it's Spirit. Is it Spirit dash Spirit? Hold on, I'll get this for you. Promise. Spirit Collective Healers at gmail.com and submit to us 3 dates and times that you are available to meet with us. And so we'll get that scheduled ASAP. Beautiful souls, I will see some of you soon. And this again in a couple of weeks. Amen. Okay, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
No, not yet. Don't go.
Oh, not
Just
yet.
Let me,
Sorry.
Yeah.